Hi, so let us start the today's session for base64 library in Python. So the basic question that comes in your mind is like what the base64 library is used, what are the users, and what base64 library does. So in Python, this library is used for basically it is used for encoding and decoding of the data into the base64 format. Let's say like base64 is a way of converting binary data, like let's say images, files, or any byte data into the ASCII string. Okay, so when uh, whenever we got an ASCII string format, okay, so that ASCII string format can then be easily transmitted, okay, over any kind of text based protocols, let's say email or HTTP. Okay, so let's start with an example so that you can better understand. So I will start with use case. Let's say like one of the use cases, like to encoding the binary data. Okay, so encoding the binary data into base64. Got it. So here this is useful when, let's say, um, the use case would be like to safely transmit the binary data in the text format, such as like embedding images into the HTML, sending the files or an email, or storing the data in the text formats like JSON. So let's take a basic example of encoding a binary data. The data, what I mean is, we will take the string here. So like we just need to import the base64 library first. Then we need to take the variable, let's say like a data. We also need the string here. So let's say it's a hello Shivaraj. Okay, so this is the string that I need, if suppose. And not only the string, we need the binary string, so we need to specify b here, as we specified r before the address that we are specifying in the pandas library, right, for reading the CSV or Excel files or any kind of TXT files. We after giving the address, we need to specify r there, because it's just for regex kind of stuffs, for escaping the characters. So similar way, we just need to mention b here, just to mention like it is the binary data. So the binary data for hello Shivaraj will be stored into the data variable. Once it is stored, we need let's say encoded this variable encoded data, let's say. So in this variable, we just need to call our base64 class. Inside that, we need to call base64 encode method, which is mentioned in the base64 class with the library, and we need to pass the data here. So the data that we have converted into binary one. So here what happens is, okay, so I need to print it, right? So okay, let's say print encoded data. So what happens here is, it will convert that binary string into the base64 format. So let's see how it will do this. So if I do save this and run, okay, so it is successfully converted this string into the base64 format. So next, I will mention, or I would like to say something like, we are encoding the data here, right? So next step would be to decode the data, because every time you need to see like whatever the data that we have encoded, just from the learning perspective, if you want to see how it works, then decoding will work here. So decoding base64 to, let's say, binary again, as we converted binary to base64 here. Similar way, base64 to the binary conversion. For that purpose, we need a variable, let's say decoded data arithmetic, okay, and inside that, if I mention we need to call this base64 class again. Okay, I will copy this first, and instead of encode we need to mention the decode, as well as we need to pass the encoded data here, because for decoding we obviously need the encoded. Once if you do encoding, then only you can do the decoding, right? You can't directly apply the data here, so you need the encoded data variable to be mentioned inside this particular method. So once I mention this, whatever the decoded string will be there, it will be converted and stored into the decoded data. And once I print this decoded data, if I print this, you will be very clear like how it works. So let me run this. So I need to save it. Okay, so previously what we did is we encoded the data, and soon after we decoded the data. So it is the same string that we have encoded. Okay, you got the basic stuff here. So third point, it would be like URL step encoding. So what happens in the URL step encoding is this these are the URL step versions of encoding and decoding. Okay, so let me take an example of URL step. So what happens inside this is whenever there is a plus sign, okay, it will convert that plus sign with um, minus, and if suppose there is a slash, it will convert the slash into the slash converted into the underscore. So that is the URL step encoding, which is used for transmitting the transmitting the data or text-based formats, such as like say email or HTTP. So for that purpose we use this URL step. So let's say same structure would be there, right? So if we say this, the structure would be the same, okay, but there is a one change that you need to mention here: URL safe. And yeah, this is the only change that you need to make. So you just need to insert this URL safe keyword here with underscore before the base64 encode. And similar way for the decoded data, the same format will be used. Just this string will be inserted before base64 decode here. Okay, so so I think we need to change variable name. So URL, if I change, and decoded data URL again. So here also we need to change, right? And also we need to pass the same thing. So similar way it will work. We just need to need to do some changes here. So similar way, if you see here, both the strings look the same. As I said, like it will convert plus to minus, so there is no plus sign to convert it into the minus, as well as there is no slash to convert it into the underscore. So string would be looking the same. The the fourth case would be like, let's say you, as I said, right? So if you want to encode or decode the file, so how we can do that? For encode or decode the file, or let's say images. So let's take an example. So similar syntax we used to reading the file in previous videos. Like we need to start with the width, then open, and just need to mention the, let's say, URL of image. So for my case, if I take the example of let's say, okay, so I will take the, okay, so this will I just need to copy the link here, and l.png, if I mention, I need to pass it, but before that I need to mention regex here. Okay, so if I do this, also I need to read this file, right? So I need to read this file in binary mode. So rb read in binary I can use. We just need alias name here. So as file, if I say then if I take encoded image, let's say variable, and inside that variable if I say base64 class, and if I call base64 encode method, and if I pass file dot read, because we need to read this file, because we cannot directly pass the file here, we need to read it and then pass. Once I do this, if I print and we need to mention this variable name, right, encoded image. So let's see how it will give us what we are expecting. Okay, so we got this. So what is this? This is the binary version of file that we have, encoded version of the image or PNG file. So obvious question in your mind, if we have converted and passed, let's say, or any email or something like that, so after that how can you reconvert it into PNG file and see the image again? So for that purpose we use the same format that we use previously. Okay, so for that purpose let's say with open, as well as what we need to open here is the this is the encoded image, right? So we need to open this encoded image here. Sorry, but if you see this, no, we need decoded image. We cannot use the encoded image here. So for getting the encoded image, decoded image, previously the first we need to do is, let's say, like I will take the variable decoded image, okay, and inside that if I mention something like base64, and I will call it, suppose, base64 decode method, and if I pass this encoded image inside this, okay, so it will convert that whatever we have encoded into the decoded format. Once we get the decoded format, then I think we are we will be able to convert that image into a binary one, right? The expected format that we need to see. So here what we need is something let's say with open, if I say, and if I mention something like this, if I want something to be reflected, let's say here, so if I do this list with open, okay, slash decoded the png, okay, and if I do this in write in binary mode, because previously we are doing the read in binary mode, we need to mention the alias name here, let's say decoded file, and soon after that if we do this like decoded image, okay, so we are using this decoded image here, and once we use this decoded image, we need to call the write method. Okay, so if I do this write, because previously when we are doing this, we are just encoding the data and printing the data, right? So here we need to convert back that data which is in the decoded image into PNG file. So we have mentioned this address where the PNG file will be stored, which will be opened in the write binary mode. We will call this decoded image variable again, and we write that. We will call the write method inside that, and inside this if we pass let's say it would be okay, so it will be decoded image. Okay, so let's say decoded image. So this write method will work with not with the decoded image variable but with the decoded file, because we are dealing with this file, right? So file.write would be the simplest way. So we need to mention decoded file here and we need to write it. Okay, so once we do this, it will be saved and you can see that. Okay, so let me run this and let's see if there are any errors. Okay, so it is the rejects error, the escaping character. Okay, once I run this, okay, let's see is there any errors or something like that. So we don't get any errors here, and we haven't printed this, but if you see the image, so decoded image, right? So decoded image would be look like this. So decoded PNG. So we have successfully converted back that data into the PNG format. So thank you for this lecture. Have a great day. Thanks.